Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for the trading week of May 29th through June 2nd, where we'll select our top swing trading stocks to watch. We'll talk about what we have in our bullpen, in our shopping list. We'll look at dividend paying stocks, our option strategies, etc. So we've got a lot to cover. So again, thank you for joining us for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for the trading week of May 29th through June 2nd. So let's get started. So here's our Google document with our notes for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for this week. Our Google documents are publicly accessible. You can find a direct link to these Google documents with our notes for our weekly trading game plan in the description box below. We store all of our notes for our weekly trading game plans in a publicly accessible Google Drive folder. And you can also find the direct link to that Google Drive folder in the description box below. Our notes contain links to bonus videos, all the tools that we use, etc. So you can refer back to them with our strategies, trade ideas, etc. And also the links to bonus videos, etc. Welcome, Flip of the Shippa, Ellen Krantz. Thank you for joining us in the chat today. We hope you all are having a good Memorial Day holiday weekend. Just a quick reminder that the markets are all closed tomorrow, May 29th, for the Memorial Day holiday in the U.S. So we hope that you will take the time to recharge, spend time with your family, and be ready to jump back in on the 30th of May on Tuesday for this trading week. If you haven't already seen part 1 of our weekly trading game plan for this week titled Make Money Trading in June, we would highly recommend you also view part 1, as that contains our market analysis, our strategies, etc. for making money trading in June. So again, you can access that via the link in our notes and also on our BeachBum Trading YouTube channel. Welcome to Ricky Khan. Thank you for joining us as well. So first we'll cover just a few of the trades that we made last week, and then we'll look at those charts in Webull. So firstly, we sold a cash secured put again against Disney at the 85 strike price. June 16th expiration date is something we've done before. Again, we'll see Disney decline, so that premium on that put went up, so we sold it for 117. Again, our strategy is to try to buy it back cheaper, keep the premium difference. If it happens to drop below and we get a sign, we're happy with getting Disney at an $85 price, but again, we'll look to buy it back cheaper. Disney bounces back up, keep the difference in the premium as kind of a self-generated dividend, which is part of our options strategy for making money while we wait for the markets to trend, etc. We also got stopped out of our previous long position in UROI. UROI is one of the stocks that we've been watching and playing for the sector rotation in and out of uranium. So we were long in UROI. We got stopped out. We'd entered on the 16th of May at 189, got stopped out at 195 on the 23rd. So small profit, about 3%, monthly profit, about 13.6%. And again, this has been our strategy, playing that sector rotation in and out of uranium. And then we got back in. Again, they rotated out of UROI. So congratulations to everyone who made money on that previous scalp in UROI. And you'll see we entered back again on the 26th and actually got it a little bit cheaper. So we're back into UROI at 188, and we'll continue to do this, play the sector rotation in and out of uranium, scalp it for a couple percent until uranium starts to trend upward or downward. Good morning, Walter Lyons. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you. Hope you're having a good weekend. We also had gotten stopped out of our previous long position in wheat. Wheat is the ETF on wheat futures. We'd entered on the 19th at 611. We got stopped out at 616 for another small profit, a little less than 1%. So monthly ROI of about 5%. And again, this is another one we'll continue to scalp and attempt to swing trade until wheat turns back up. We looked at the wheat futures yesterday. We've been, trying to catch the bottom and swing that one back up as well. So congratulations to all of our other fellow BeachBum traders who are making money scalping and swinging in wheat. And as you'll see, we're looking to go long again. We'll continue this strategy, try to get into wheat and swing it back up, but we'll continue to scalp it and take profits, as long as we can. Just a quick reminder, if you'd like to get real-time trade alerts when we enter or exit trades, you can get that with any level of our Patreon. So we send out email notifications through Patreon as soon as we enter a trade or exit a trade, and those also get posted in a couple of alerts channels in our Discord that our Patreons have access to, and I'll show you those very quickly. So there's a couple alerts channels, and again, any level of our Patreon has access to all these alerts channels. Some of them are triggered based on price alerts that we set up in Thinkorswim, so those get automatically triggered and posted in the Thinkorswim alerts channel, so you can see when UROI hit its price alert again, and then if we follow that up with an actual trade, we'll post that there in the Thinkorswim channel. If it's a trade that we're making, like selling a cash secured put against Disney, we'll post that in the trade alerts channel, as that wouldn't be something that was necessarily based on a Thinkorswim trade alert, price alert. So again, if you'd like to get that information, again, I don't recommend that anyone blindly follow us or anyone else into trades, but if you would find it helpful to make money trading, to succeed in your trading career, to see what we're entering and when and exiting, etc., you could do that by joining our Patreon. And we also always appreciate the support. So we'll quickly look at these charts in Webull. I'm using the online browser version of Webull. This is the stock screen. So I've got a watch list containing our trades that we review each week. So you can see Disney had gone into decline. So the puts, those 85 puts premium increased. Also, we had a little bit increase in the VIX. So that also helps, as we'll see, with the puts premium as we look at other put opportunities at the end of the video. So again, if Disney bounces back up, we'll look to buy that put back and keep the difference in premium as a kind of self-generated dividend. If it drops below 85 and we get a sign, that's fine. I may even buy Disney shares below 85 if it bottoms and turns. As we found in the past, even though it dropped below our strike price, we didn't necessarily get assigned. UROI, again, this is the uranium, one of the uranium plays that we've been watching. You can see the previous low was about 181. It's been kind of bouncing in the 80s. So you can see we got stopped out previously. We were in, let's see, what was the previous one? So 16 to the 23rd. So we got in, you can see that support level. So it was bouncing off that support level, ran up. So we took that profit and then it rolled over, broke down below that pivot point, trailed back down, and it bottomed again. So we bought that back on the 26th at that bottom, and we'll again try to swing that back up. We've made profits a couple times on these swings, and we're just waiting for it to trend back up. So you can see got plenty of upside into the high twos, low threes, so plenty of potential profit opportunity. You can see it's just bouncing and testing that support level. So we'll see if and when that swings back up. Pretty much the same thing with wheat. You can see how it touched down at that support level, bounced up a little bit, came back down. So you can see how when we got in and out of there. So we got on the 19th at 611, out on the 24th. So the 19th. So again, I didn't catch necessarily the bottom price, but just a low price, rode that back up, and then it rolled over again. So you can see where that pivot point was. So I had a stop just below that, got stopped out there. Again, we'll be looking to re-enter, somewhere around that 607. I think it was down at 609. Looked like there was some support the other day at 609. I wasn't able to catch that, and it bounced up. So this we'll try to catch a quick pullback in wheat and ride that up again. We see, it's got plenty of potential upside, and it's been testing that support level repeatedly. So again, those are two that we'll be looking. We're back in UROI. We'll be looking to get back into wheat as well, and you'll see that in our watch list for this week. Okay, let me grab a quick drink and we'll go through our real-time watch list, our top swing trading stocks to watch for this week. And I'll throw up our ad for Webull, and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, here's the stocks that we have on our real-time watch list for this week. So our top swing trading stocks for this week. First one we're adding is BDRY. This is an ETF on dry bulk shipping. As we'll see, it's a little declined significantly. We watched BDRY in the past. And again, we'll see if we can get a swing in that. DNN's another uranium play we've been watching. It just hasn't come down. It's not oscillating quite as much as UROY has been. But that would be another one we'd play for the sector rotation in uranium. We've been watching that for a while. Also IPI for potash. We'll see it bounced up, and we've been waiting for a potential pullback there to get in there. You can hear our thesis on IPI and potash stocks via the link in the notes. MP Materials, again, we've been watching this for a while, and you can hear our previous due diligence on why we like MP Materials. Again, it bounced up and it seems to be coming down. Something was going on. I think it was Friday. It had declined. I didn't see any news to justify the decline. Didn't hear any reason. It might have been just market sector rotation out of basic materials. So we'll look to take advantage of that opportunity. OPP, again, fixed income fund, bond fund, pays a 10-cent monthly dividend. It hasn't really come down to where I would like it yet, as you'll see. And you can hear my thesis on when to buy and not to buy OPP in this bonus link to this video here in the notes. SATS, again, EchoStar Corporation, Satellite Corporation. It bounced up as well, might have been pushed up in part due to technology. So we're still looking for a little bit of a pullback in SATS. Again, you can hear our previous due diligence video on SATS via the link in the notes. We'll look at semiconductors, both SOXS and SOXL. Everybody's probably well aware of the huge run in SOXL, based mostly on NVIDIA, AMC. We'll look at the charts and see if we can find, a resistance point, the next resistance point where we might be able to find a top in SOXL. That's what I would be watching for to trigger an entry into SOXS, is when SOXL peaks and rolls over. Because we don't really know. SOXS has just been declining. It's going to decay as it's a leveraged ETF, so it's harder to find the bottom in that than it is to find the top in SOXL. We also have our resident semiconductor expert, Walter Lyons, who watches the underlying index and is a great help in helping us identify tops and bottoms in semiconductors. So Again, got a great BeachBum trading community. We help each other out, help each other make money, succeed in trading. So also TROX, this is titanium play, basic materials we've been watching for a little while. They do pay a quarterly dividend. And again, you can hear our quick take and our thesis behind why we're interested in Tronex Holdings, or TROX, as another play in basic materials. And again, we're back into UROI, so but you can still possibly get an opportunity there. And we talked about wheat, that we're looking for another long opportunity in wheat as well. Also a reminder, all of our Patreon levels have access to an automatically generated web page that we update automatically at the end of each day. So if we have intra-week or more frequent updates to our watch list, you can get access to that via any level of our Patreon again. And our web page watch list also contains price targets, dividend payment information, optionality information, etc. So if you're interested in getting, price targets and more frequent updates to our watch list, you can join any level of our Patreon. And then if I make any before market or further during market hour changes to the watch list, I post them in a stocks watch list channel in our Discord that our Patreon members also have access to, including, if we identify any additional opportunities to sell puts, etc. So again, we'll post that, and our Patreon members then get notified of those changes to our watch list. So we hope that also helps. So I'll quickly spin through our watch list, the charts for our watch list for this week. Again, nice thing about Webull is you can have all kinds of different watch lists. Again, I'm using the online browser version of Webull. So here's dry bulk shipping, BDRY. See it kind of bottomed recently there, bounced up a little bit. So again, just on a little slight pullback. Looks like that's pretty good support around that 615 area. We've got longer term support there. It looks pretty good. So if we get a swing back up, we've got the upside up into the 10s. So it's not quite short term, not quite the 2-to-1 I'd like, but again a pretty decent upside potential if it swings back up, and we can see how it did that previously. So last time it touched around that 615, it went up to the almost 11, came back down. So that looks like a pretty good support level. DNN, again, we've been watching DNN. Anywhere around $1 is good. The lowest point's about 92. But again, anywhere around $1 is pretty good support. You see it bounced up, into the low dollars, $1.15, $1.20. Previous upside into the 150s. So it's got a nice 50% potential upside. And again, you can see that dollar area is pretty good support. IPI, this is our potash play. You can see the previous bottom about 1626. It did bounce off of that. Looks like that's pretty good support. Looks like it might be coming down. I've been trying to pick that guy up in that area. It's a little bit choppy. You can see, it's got plenty of potential upside up into the 56s or shorter term into the 30s. So that looks like a pretty good potential double. Again, that's a potash play, so fertilizers, agriculture, springtime. Here's MP Materials. You see it went down to 2021, bounced rather quickly. And then we see that steep decline on Friday. As I mentioned, I didn't really hear any reason for that, but we'll see if we get another shot at it down somewhere in the 21 area, 20, low 20s, low 21s. See if we can get an MP Materials. Again, it's got upside into the 35, 36. So not quite a double, but again, pretty decent potential upside. Welcome, MD. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you as well. So here's that OPP. Again, anywhere around 8. This is the bond fund, pays a monthly dividend. Right around 8 seems to be a pretty stable area. You see the last time paid out ex-dividends 5.12, so the next one's probably about 6.12, and again it pays 10 cents per share. So now that we supposedly have a tentative debt ceiling deal, we'll see if that goes through, and if that does, we expect a flood of bonds to hit the market, and we'll see how OPP reacts to that. If it declines and we get a nice dip, we would buy up a big chunk of OPP for the monthly dividend, because again, that would be a pretty short-term event in my humble opinion. Good morning, Easy Mike. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you as well. Hope you're having a good Memorial Day holiday weekend. Just a quick disclaimer on all of this. We're not financial advisors. This is not financial advice. This is education and entertainment only, but my opinions, as is all of our content, but we hope that this helps you all succeed and make money in your trading careers as well. So here's SATS. You can see I like SATS around 15. It did dip down to 1467, bounced up pretty quickly. Looks like it's getting some resistance from that pivot point, at 1620, 1630. So we'll see if we get another dip down and get an opportunity to get back into SATS. We can see that looks like it's a pretty good support zone. Got upside into the 20s. So again, not really necessarily the double I'd like to see in the near term, but a decent upside. Okay, so let's look at semiconductors. And we'll talk about SOXL and SOXS and try to find, where potential opportunities are. We see that, exuberant run on the NVIDIA news. It popped up. This was interesting. It popped up. Looks like it got rejected off of that resistance level at about 2306 or so. And when we look at SOXS, it's interesting because the price target, my automated pivot point system selected, because you didn't really know where the next bottom point was, but the price target on our web page was 1113. So I assume that's using the ATR, average true range, and it picked off that next bottom. So we can see 1113 was the previous bottom. Again, so if we zoom out a little bit more on SOXL, the next peak is about 2603. So we'll see if it breaks this resistance here or if it gets rejected again. If so, the top on SOXL looks like maybe 2306. The next resistance point again would be 26. So we just want to wait and see where does it peak and roll over as a potential entry point into SOXS, because again, we can't really find the bottom on SOXS directly. So I'm again watching SOXL, where does it peak and start to roll over. TROX, and if anybody has any questions, about what we're looking for in terms of semiconductors, etc., how to play that. Again, day trading is totally different. You can day trade these guys, trade the momentum, etc. Just, get out as it rolls over. You could even then reverse and go, SOXS and ride it down for a short period of time. These guys do seem to respect their moving averages pretty good. I was watching what's called there's a guy called J Trader, and I use in Thinkorswim, I use what he calls J lines, which is a couple other moving averages, and it just dipped down. SOXL just dipped down, touched those J lines, and bounced back up. It had broken, our previous resistance point we were watching was 1840, and you can see it broke through that pretty healthfully, although it did get rejected at 1835. So I was watching it at that point where it got rejected, but then it came back down to those J lines and then bounced back up and surged, back up from there. So again, we're looking for the next level of resistance where we're going to get a rejection. But again, with the euphoria behind AI, NVIDIA, this could even run considerably further until it exhausts itself and people start taking profits. So I hope that helps. And here's the titanium guy, TROX. I've actually got to buy. I think it's sitting at 11. I've been waiting for that to hit. This guy's kind of choppy, a low float. So, and also the bid-ask spread tends to be kind of wide. So it's a little tricky to figure out where to place the buys on that. Here's wheat. Again, we talked about wheat. So, 607, 609, 611. Again, it's choppy as well. So both of these guys, I tend to watch the level 2, see where there's, large orders and try to go a cent above those large orders in the bids and then just kind of wait for it to hit. So I hope that helps. So welcome to Crow. Thank you for joining us. He says the NVIDIA guidance was fraudulent. Yeah, we can talk in more detail about that at some point. Actually, let me mention part of my thesis on the SOXL, SOXS trade. And I think someone else, CNBC or someone mentioned this, is the reason I'd rather play SOXL versus NVIDIA, even with the ETFs, there's NVDL and NVDS, and we have those in our ETF spreadsheet. But, there's such euphoric the perception of NVIDIA that, NVIDIA itself could continue to run, as could AMD on this. They've got to deal with Microsoft for AI chips. But I'd rather play the whole semiconductor sector because one of the things that was pointed out was, okay, if NVIDIA does sell more to data centers, they're going to be cannibalizing business from another semiconductor. So again, I like playing the whole sector together. Because the sector may not be able to go up. Eventually, you're going to hit a peak in the sector, and you're just cannibalizing one company for another, and the whole sector, in my humble opinion, will exhaust and at some point roll over. We'll see profit taking. So I expect SOXL to reach a peak somewhere and roll over, and at that point is where I want to go into SOXS, ride it down, and then we could always ride SOXL back up as this supply demand oscillates. So that's my thesis. I don't know what you all think about that. I'd love to hear your feedback on what you think of that analysis and whether you agree, disagree. I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments and our Discord, etc. So let me grab a quick drink and we'll talk about our bullpen. I want to talk about Japan, the Nikkei, very similar situation. So just a sec. Okay, so let's talk about our bullpen stocks. And just for anybody that's new, the concept of the bullpen are ones that I don't watch real time during the day. But I just revisit these at the end of each day, see if their setup has improved. We put them into the bullpen if they look like they might have a positive setup in the near term. I just revisit those at the end of the day. If they look good, setups improved, then we put them in the game, move them up to our real-time watch list. If they run away or break down, then we just take them out of the bullpen. And one of the things I recently saw was this run up in the Nikkei. So I'm going to jump over to our home page and jump over into FinViz so we can look at the Nikkei. We probably looked at it briefly yesterday. Just a reminder, you can find links to all our resources, all our social media sites, etc. on our home page in the links section. Our home page is beachbumtrading.com. So I'll throw that up in the banner as well. Then we'll jump over to FinViz Futures, and I just want to very quickly show you the Nikkei, because that's what prompted me to start to look for ways to short this. Is I saw this big run up in the Nikkei and said, hey, is there an opportunity where I could short that? So I started looking for ETFs that I could use to short that. We see longer term, it's making new highs. So we can see, the Nikkei's at a pretty much, all-time high going all the way back to 205. So, and a pretty exuberant run up there. So when I see something like that, that's so extended, an exuberant run like that, I want to see, is there an opportunity to short it? And I found this EWV, so it's an ultra short ETF on to be able to short the Nikkei. So I want to keep an eye on that. However, I want to keep an eye on the actual futures, this chart of the Nikkei, to see, where does it peak out. It could continue to run up, but when it peaks out, we get a retracement. That could be an opportunity. If it really rolls over, again, that could be an opportunity. And there's a long ETF, EZJ, and this is also in our ETF spreadsheet. So again, our All Access and VIP Patreons have access to our ETF comparison spreadsheet anytime. So you can watch EZJ where it's reaching resistance, and watch EWV for support, and also this the Nikkei chart. So I'm looking for that top, and if so, then we would look at a potential long in EWV. So I'll look at both of those in Webull real quick. And MD's talking about Taiwan Semis is building plants in Arizona. I don't believe they have any yet. But yeah, that's to diversify their global risk, but I don't believe any of those exist yet. And yeah, NVIDIA, that's an issue with NVIDIA, is they buy all their chips, or all their chips are fabricated by Taiwan Semiconductor. So again, if you hear something going on with Taiwan, that would negatively impact NVIDIA as well as any of the other semiconductor makers that have all their chips fabricated in Taiwan Semi. So here's the short on the Nikkei. You can see this guy's pretty choppy. So again, hard to determine a bottom. It recently bottomed, bounced up. You can see again, it's pretty choppy, low float. So again, I'd be looking at the top. So the long is EZJ. You can see it's got significant room to run yet. Again, hard to tell. Previous top was around 34.50 or so. So we'll see if it continues up. Again, it's just in the bullpen. I'm kind of trying to just kind of watch the behavior, see if we can find a top in the Nikkei that we can short using EWV. So again, love to hear all. This is the first time we really looked at trying to play the Nikkei. I did look at Germany as well, which is the DAX, and I couldn't find a ETF to short the DAX. So there was one to long. You see it subsequently rolled over. We do have some on Europe. So, but again, all of them recently rolled over after I started looking. So. I'm glad you liked the idea. Thank you, Flippa. Again, if you all like this content, like more of this content, I'd greatly appreciate it if you'd smash the like button and share our content with more traders. Again, we're trying to grow our community. It's everyone's mutual benefit. If we have more traders involved, more conversations in our Discord, etc. So our shopping list, you'll see I kind of pared some of these things down. Looks like the bank crisis is not hot at this time. Sounds like we've got a tentative debt ceiling deal. Again, we'll see the consequences of that on Tuesday. We'll see if they actually, can finalize that deal. And again, there will be an impact on bonds pretty quickly, so watch for that. I was looking at opportunities to short bonds in our ETF spreadsheet as well, but most of those have already run up quite a bit. So, but we will be watching that as a potential opportunity to short bonds on this deluge of treasuries that they're going to have to release as soon as the debt ceiling is actually raised. My only note with the shopping list, the shopping list is your list of stocks that you always want to buy, given the opportunity that they become cheap, be it an irrational move in the market or an irrational reaction to earnings. We've been saying for a very long time, beware of zombie companies, zombie stocks. If they can't service their debt, there's now an increasing probability that the Fed's going to raise interest rates again in June and or July. And yes, that's a China. There's an issue with the virus in China again. So although I've heard they're not considering any kind of lockdowns, it is impacting their economy. Their reopening is slower than expected. So negative near term on China. I haven't heard of any travel restrictions yet, but that would not be unexpected either. So now we'll look at our dividend payers. So again, a couple of our strategies for making money while we wait for the market to kind of trend is both piling into dividend paying stocks and also selling and buying back covered calls, selling and buying back puts. So we have a spreadsheet where we can quickly identify potential dividend payers that look attractive. We'll take a quick look at that. And then we'll talk about some additions to that. So last week, Walter Lyons mentioned QQQX in the live chat of part 2 last week. And thank you again, Walter, for pointing out QQQX to us. So one of the things we've run the research on QQQX. You can see this is a dynamic overwrite fund on the NASDAQ. So we did the research on that. We put it in the ad sheet. As you'll see, the risk reward profile isn't something that I wanted to add to our database, our main sheet yet. But again, you can see the risk reward profile of that. I guess I'll go over there and we can look at it real quickly. So I'll zoom this in a little bit. So again, our all access and VIP Patreons have access to this whole sheet anytime. So you can see I just plug in the symbol there and it automatically picks up the prices and the highs and the lows in the 52-week from Google Finance functions. And then I manually go and look at the chart. You see there's a link to the FinViz right there in the notes column. So I can jump over to the FinViz chart and identify the support and resistance levels and the pivots, etc. So you can see the dividend it pays. I also copy that into the spreadsheet, whether it's optionable, etc. So we can see, the risk reward profile from even a 52-week isn't all that attractive. It also calculates the adjusted risk or the adjusted yield. So you can see the yield's about 7%. The adjusted yield's only 2.3%. Pays quarterly, 42 cents per quarter. So again, the adjusted yield wasn't, terribly exciting, but again, you can see there's the support resistance top bottom that I identified in the FinBiz chart for QQQX. So again, if you're interested in that, you can access that information in the Add tab in our dividend payer spreadsheet. So again, thank you for pointing that out, Walter, and I hope the analysis helps. Also, I found out about this TSLY, which is a dividend payer on Tesla. You see it's yield max. Tesla, it's an option strategy. So they sell covered calls, essentially the same kind of covered call strategy that we use. They sell and buy them back, generate income. So that was interesting. So we added TSLY to our dividend payers. So now if we go to TSLY, you see I didn't add it to the database, but we do have the dividend payment information. So it's 44 cents a month. You see the support and resistance and the risk reward. Again, not terribly exciting, but it does give a 22% yield, given that it does have some upside potential. So it's got a couple bucks of upside potential, high of 22 on a 52-week basis. So again, we added that there. If you're interested in that, it makes money again on Tesla. I hope that also helps. So those are some that we've added. Also, we added a feed in our Discord. We had one from dividend hikes. I now added one for dividend cuts. So there's an automatic feed. If anybody announces a dividend cut, that gets posted automatically in the investing channel in our Discord. So hopefully that will help you identify, if somebody raises a dividend, obviously that's positive. If somebody cuts a dividend, obviously that's negative. I assume it would also post if they halted their dividend, which, some companies, if they're not in good financial position, they might halt their dividend, they might cut their dividend. So again, our Discord is free to join. It's only those few channels that are exclusive to our Patreon members. So I put the link, there's a link, an invite to our Discord in the description box below, and I just put it in the banner there. So you can get all this information automatically in our Discord. We have a whole series of videos about the evolution of our dividend payers, how we constructed it, how you can use it to, build your own dividend payment calendar. We've got information on the frequency, the dividend amounts, etc. So again, you can go through and find, and also, what industry they're in now. We recently added that, so you can stay away from industries that are potentially at risk, or you can find ones that are ideally more attractive. And the ones in red are partially, if they have a yield that's below 5, then, it's flagging those, because why would you want a dividend of 5% when you could put it in a money market and earn 5% right now, at least? So if anybody has any questions about any specific dividend payers, I can look at those here. In here, you can see some that we've looked at before. Jeppy, Junk, Land, we own a big chunk of. TROX has a dividend. OPP we talked about. We've looked at several of these before. SOX actually does pay a dividend. There's TROX, there's TSLY. And again, this information for the dividends, etc. I have automated systems that gather this information, and then this all gets updated. The columns in gray get updated at the end of the day via our automated systems. And again, our all access and VIP Patreons have access to the spreadsheet 24/7. So again, you can build your calendar of dividend payments, and we hope that all helps. Okay. Here's our option strategies. I did get some feedback in one of our videos that people liked having this strategy in the notes for reference, so I'll leave that in our notes. This explains, our criteria for selecting cash secured puts, and then we'll look at our ROIC spreadsheet. We'll grab a quick drink, check the chat, and then we'll look at some potential opportunities to sell puts. Okay, and again, we have a whole series of videos that you can access via this link. It's called Option Strategies for Beginners with Examples. Also in our options playlist, talks about, how we've developed these option strategies, how you can deploy these using various tools, be it Webull or E-Trade, etc. And here's our puts ROIC spreadsheet. So again, the ones in yellow, you can see the ones I have orders out on. So we're selling Amazon at 80. Here's the Disney, we sold at 85. So I highlighted that in green. Also, you can see the prices that I currently have the sells out at or, executed. Here's one on Experian. I identified the most recent high price to sell that put. I just haven't placed that order as it ran up. So Generac looks like, but it doesn't have a very good premium price. Still got one out on Moderna, and pretty much everything else ran up this week, so not a whole lot of other opportunities. I do have one out on TQQQ, so obviously TQQQ went up, so that's not going to hit, but we'll see if we get a retracement. We might be able to pick that up. So again, this gets updated. We pull the options information from what's in the watch list automatically, and then at the end of the day, these all get updated. So I look for anybody with the potential of at least $1 or more. And if you all would like us to run our systems and research any additional puts, just let us know. You can let us know in the Discord, in the comments to this video. Again, you can always contact us via any of our social media sites, via the links on our homepage. Okay, so I want to quickly address a question that MD asked in the live chat yesterday. I apologize, I didn't see it at the time. He was asking about IEP, which is Icon Enterprises. So we'll look at the FinViz chart for that very quickly. And MD, if you're still here, it wasn't clear as to what are you looking for in terms of IEP. Are you looking for this as a potential buy, a hold, a sell? If you can let us know what your thesis, what are you looking for in IEP, that would help us respond accordingly. But we can see this looks like a disaster. I believe this is Carl Icahn. I believe there was a short report against it. We can probably find the date. So let's see, it's about May. So if we go down in the news, I'll zoom this up a little bit so we can see, okay, early May. It's probably the short report. Oh, under federal investigation after Hindenburg report. So first Hindenburg came out with a short report, and now it's under federal investigation. Also, I heard Bill Ackman is piling on, so and warning about this. So it's a battle. Bill Ackman against Carl Icahn again. I think the last one was that Herbalife thing. So, in terms of a buy, I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. I'd stay out of. Why would you want to get in the middle of a brawl? between the Ackman and Icon, they're under federal investigation. Again, a lot of negatives. Now on the positive side, Carl Icon's probably got plenty of money to keep this propped up. It does pay a dividend, $8 annual dividend. Obviously, the yield is adjusted high now due to low share price. But again, in terms of a buy, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. In terms of a short, again, I think Carl Icahn can, if he wishes to hold this up, prop it up. So I don't think it'd be a great short. Short percentage is pretty low. Now, if you're holding this, I wouldn't sell it at this level because you're obviously significantly underwater, and you can hope that Carl Icahn can prop this up, and in the long run, maybe it can make a recovery. But again, that's what a disaster right now. So again, I wouldn't touch this in any regards, but if you happen to already own it, you can hold it, collect the dividend, hope that it recovers at some point in the future. So I hope that answers your questions, MD, and I hope that helps everyone. Does anyone else have any other last-minute questions from the chat? Or if I missed your question again, I apologize. Please throw it back up in the chat, and I will try to address it in the next couple minutes. Walter Lyons talking about shorting the VIX on the next, shorting UVXY on the next VIX spike. Yeah, we talked about you can use SVXY, but again, yeah, that's a leveraged ETF. That's what we use to short the VIX, but again, it is a leveraged ETF, so it does suffer from decay, but then obviously you don't have borrow issues, etc., and you can do it in an ETF. DWAC, yeah. That's again not one I'd be interested in, Crow. But again, day trade, short term, you can pursue that if you wish. Dynatrace, Easy Mike's mentioning Dynatrace. Let me see if I can bring that up real quick. I do want to close out pretty quickly. I have some personal experience with Dynatrace back when they were a code analyzer tool. I'm not sure they'll probably throw some AI stuff around, and there's opportunities in that. There's ways they can use AI to do better code analysis. So they're probably getting that push from the AI trend. So there's Dynatrace. They are making money. So yeah, it doesn't look bad. Debt's pretty good. Outstanding shares, not a huge discrepancy. We'll look at their financials. So it's improving. So it looks like they've made some improvements. So it's increasing. Yeah. So yeah, they look pretty good. I missed them. Hadn't really thought of them in a long time because again, my experiences from them as a code analysis tool. There's also, I think, who's that other one? Splunk was on Kramer the other day. And that's another interesting one. One of these days, I won't babble too much, but one of these days, maybe I'll do a series of shows where we just kind of talk more about technologies, future technologies. I can share more of my experience with some of these companies and some of my thesis on potential opportunities. Because like Splunk is another one that does data aggregation. Again, I have experience with Splunk, and that might be a potential opportunity. Yeah, so they got to pop off the AI thing too. And again, they're losing money, and they had profitability issues. Looks like a potential turnaround, but again, I'd have to do deeper due diligence in how they're doing nowadays to really make any kind of opinion. with Splunk at this point. Again, we're talking about Boyle, which is the long on natural gas. And again, we talked about that yesterday. Again, day trades, fine, but pretty much it's natural gas pretty range bound between 2 and 3. I'm not really pursuing natural gas and in terms of a swing unless it, breaks down below 2. I would add a scalping position in Boyle, and it'd have to go up above 4 to look at, shorting natural gas. Same thing with oil. So yeah, we're still long drip. So, and we're waiting for it to dip below 70, and then we would go long oil, USOI, and maybe a scalper with Gush. We talked about that past couple weeks. So, okay. So if anybody else has any questions, again, you can always hit us up in the Discord. Just tag us at BeachBum, and so we're notified. I can respond. I've got another imposter to deal with. Our ID is 7313, so I'll get rid of that guy as soon as we finish. So again, we're 7313. Don't accept any imposters. And again, you can always contact us via any of our other social media sites. So again, we hope you all have a great rest of your Memorial Day holiday weekend. Relax, hit the beach and enjoy time with your family, and we'll get recharged and jump back into the markets on Tuesday. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for watching, and we hope this all helps. Please hit the like button. Please share this with all your fellow traders and friends. Let's get more people in the community for everyone's mutual benefit. And again, have a great day and a great trading week.